one day somebody does something unspeakable to someone else, to someone you hardly knew, and you do something about it, because you can.
This story comes to us from the Anchorage Daily News, where the family of an Anchorage, Alaska man shot and killed by police has joined civil rights advocates in pushing for authorities to release body-worn camera footage of his death. Now, Christopher Cody Handy, who is 34, was fatally shot by multiple police officers, just after 2:30 a.m. outside of the West Anchorage apartment that he shared with his fiancée and several young children. His fiancée has said she asked a neighbor to call 911. Now, the shooting is the first since Anchorage police officers began wearing body camera devices this year. More than 2 years later than officials first said they would be outfitted with them. 2 years later. The department has refused to release body camera footage of the incident, citing an ongoing investigation, a position officials are repeating this week. But scores of multiple people, including Handy's brother, have viewed security camera footage of the shooting from a nearby apartment camera that was posted online. The images in the video appear to conflict with some of the police department's initial statements about the incident. Imagine that, camera footage conflicting with police statements. The Handy family requested the release of the unedited body camera footage of the shooting at no cost in emails to Police Chief Designee Bianca Cross, Mayor Dave Bronson, and Suzanne LaFrance, an apparent winner of a mayoral runoff. Department policy allows the police chief to release the footage of police shootings at any time, though Bianca Cross has said this footage will not be proactively released. The police chief, remember, is appointed by the mayor. The mayor has the final call. Now, the family wants the footage released to show transparency and rebuild trust with the community, according to the emails provided with the family's permission by victim advocate Cynthia Gachupin. Travis Handy, who's Christopher's brother, said he's watched the security camera footage about 100 times and said it appears to conflict with the initial description from police that his brother raised a long gun towards officers. The video doesn't clearly show whether Christopher Handy raised the gun or not. Bianca Cross called Handy and Gachupin and reiterated the decision not to release the footage prior to the end of the investigation.
It's around 2:30 in the morning. There's shouting. Some obscenities can be heard. Anchorage Police are here responding to a disturbance call at an apartment complex on Barefoot Drive. Neighbors say it's not the first time.
Well, I saw the whole altercation.
On the second floor of this apartment,
I heard them give orders for Kris to stop.
a home surveillance camera records Christopher Handy's death.
I did see the whole thing, and he never, ever pointed the rifle at them, so.
This video, we counted at least 10 shots. Look closely. The long gun can be seen in Handy's right hand, vertically by his side.
I had very clear camera footage that shows him from the bottom of the steps, going down the deck, going down the steps, and standing at the end of our sidewalk that shows that no point in that timing did he point that gun. So it was disheartening to hear that they felt the need to lie.
The chief, Bianca Cross, also said she could not provide a timeline about when it will be released. Police spokeswoman Renee Oistad, in an email, said the family was told we would allow the investigation to be complete and thorough before we could consider releasing the footage. Now, also the family was told there's no timeline due to all the moving parts of the investigation. But Oistad says this case is a priority for us. Sure it is. All police shootings are reviewed by the State Office of Special Prosecutions to determine if the use of force was justified. Anchorage Police also conduct an internal investigation to determine if the officers violated policy. We call that an internal justification. That's what we call it. The Alaska Black Caucus, which last year sued the Anchorage Police, over body camera delays, is also pressing for the immediate release of the video of the shooting. Rich Kurtner, who co-chairs the Alaska Black Caucus's Justice Committee, said he wants to see the department release the footage this week. He said the group wants the department to adopt the policy requiring any body camera video to be released within 10 days of a police shooting. Good luck. Kurtner says the truth of the matter is going to be in the body cam footage, and the public has a right to see that. Well, depends on how they edit it, I guess. The police department last week released a statement from Bianca Cross responding to community concerns about potential discrepancies between that home surveillance footage and the initial police department reports. She said it is easy to believe that video tells the entire story. However, that assumption is untrue. It's important to remember that video does not capture many details, to include what happened before the video was activated, what happened after the video was terminated, and what happened outside the view of the camera. She said it also does not capture the human element of those involved, to include their perception, what they see, what they hear, and what they know. Christopher Handy is the second person to die in a shooting involving Anchorage Police in less than a year. Last July 2023, police shot and killed a 34-year-old man who they said was holding a rifle next to an SUV pulled over on the South Birchwood exit ramp of the Glen Highway. Now, at that time, Anchorage officers were not yet equipped with body cameras. Of course, this year, remember, they started wearing them. Alaska State Troopers began wearing their body cameras last year, 23. At least one fatal shooting was captured by the cameras since then, but the State Department has not released footage of it. State policy also allows for officials to release footage of police shootings prior to the completion of an investigation. So did you hear that? They can release according to state law, they can release that body camera footage at any time, before, during, or after the investigation. The Handy family is planning, I guess they've already done it by now, but the Handy family marched up to police headquarters involving the shooting. But something real quick to close on this. Did you hear what Bianca Cross said? She said, and she makes a point when she says that video doesn't always tell the entire story, because we don't know what happened before that video started or after the video ended, and we also if they're out of camera frame. That's why I always, when I'm cop watching, I always try to keep everybody in frame. I'm always like, even if they're over here and over here, I try to pan back and forth a little bit, just keep everybody right there. But she also said we don't know what their perception was. And that's true. When you're watching a video, you don't know if the guy's scared in his mind or what's going on up here. But a lot of times when the police write these reports, they really sometimes, well, not a lot of times, but there are times, I'll say that, when we read police reports or we hear what the police are saying, and then we see the video and we go, that's not what happened. Like what are we, no. Memphis, Tennessee, Tyree Nichols, what the Memphis police officers said happened. We watched the video from that street camera. That didn't happen that way. And there's no, well, it was their perception. There's no perception. What they said happened didn't happen. That's straight cut and dry. So while Bianca Cross makes a point there, I still think that cops, the video is going to tell, let's say 99%, 98% of the truth. Video is going to tell every time a lot of the truth, a lot of it. And that's the thing too, is what happened before the video started, what happened after the video started. That's what annoys me when you get these First Amendment auditors that maybe they go, I was attacked by a tyrant cop. Watch this video. and it shows them standing there, and they say 2 or 3 words, and then the cop comes up to them and arrests them, and you're like, what happened 3 minutes prior? Like, what caused that cop to come over to you? But we don't know, because they always start it right as the cop's coming up to them. That's why when you see my cop watches, you'll see me walking up to the police car all the time. I start from beginning to end. There ain't no, I start it right when something happens. It goes, look at this cop, look. No, you know what's going on that whole entire time. Stop posting your videos right as the cop comes over to arrest you. Show us what happened 3 or 4 minutes prior to that cop coming over there. What was the interaction? Okay, and I don't want to make this too long, but this is the bulk of it. We have a guy who was shot. His family is saying, look, he didn't raise a gun toward him, and they shot, and some people go, well, he had a gun, come on. Yeah, well, so did the airman. It was pointed at the ground, he had his hand up, and he still got shot. And some people, people were trying to, in my comment section, people were trying to defend that cop. Well, the guy had a gun, and he opened the door with a gun, and the cop, and he did announce and say he was the cop. That doesn't matter. It was pointed at the ground, and he had his hand out. Bang, bang, bang. That's why video is important. That's why we needed that body camera video of that video in Florida for the Air Forceman, the Air Force military man who was shot. That body camera shows he was shot with a gun pointed down and his hand out. That's what this story here is all about. What did the video say? What does the police initially said? And then the police chief, Bianca Cross, says, well, come on, and the video, there's some discrepancies, but the video doesn't really tell the whole thing. So release the body camera footage. Release the body camera footage, and we'll know what's true, Bianca. Stop hiding it. State law allows you to release it.